to a large extent it is, Chris, because at the end of the day, you got to call it what it is. Who are you dealing with here? Who are the jury of Khalid Muhammad's peers? Who are his peers? I mean, what American or what New York citizen is his peer that can sit in judgment
so
of him?
That's the wrong side of this issue. Then why did your president, our president at the time, George W. Bush, try the shoe bomber under criminal court in the United States? You said it was the wrong way to go. Well, then why did your president and our president at the time do that?
You know, look, again, I wasn't in that meeting.
Have I tricked you?
And it's not,
I have tricked you. I've let you give a policy position here, which I've now explained to you, ran contrary to what the Republican president did. You're laughing, but you just took a principled position and said it's wrong to have a criminal trial. Well, for more on the Republican hypocrisy and fire-breathing, let's bring in David Corn, who's the Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones and a columnist for PoliticsDaily.com, and Ron Christie, who's a former advisor to Vice President Cheney. I think I did catch him in a little contradiction there, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, because I asked him a principled question. Is it better for this country to try these countries as warriors or try them as criminals? He said, as a matter of principle, we should try them as warriors. And I said, well, why do we try the shoe bomber as a criminal?
He made a mistake. He made a mistake.
Well, what is the right answer?
The right answer to that is the shoe bomber incident took place in December of 2001. He was originally charged for obstructing a flight crew operation. He was convicted. He was put in jail. Congress and the Bush administration recognized that we needed to take more steps, more concrete steps to protect the country. In the aftermath of a Supreme Court decision, the Congress enacted the Military Commission Act of 2006, which specifically called for one being an enemy, an unlawful military combatant, let me finish this, Chris, as one who was a member of al-Qaeda who received material support from al-Qaeda. The difference between the shoe bomber and the incidents that we have right now are apples and oranges. The individual who came and tried to blow up a plane on Christmas could be tried as an enemy combatant because the Bush administration and the Congress, in a bipartisan manner, 65 votes in the Senate, 250 votes in the House of Representatives, specifically allowed for trying people as unlawful military combatants because they tried to convince.
So why is the shoe bomber in for life now?
The shoe bomber was, again,
why is he in for life
he was
now?
tried, Chris, he was tried for obstructing a flight crew, and he was convicted. We did not have the statutes on the book.
Why is he in for life now?
Because that was a sentence he was given in 2001. My distinction is the law was not on the book in 2001 as it was in 2006 because the circumstances have changed because the Congress worked in a bipartisan fashion to change the law.
This is a political attack. It has nothing to do with policy. It's nothing to do with legality. It wasn't just the shoe bomber. Zacarias Moussaoui, the blind sheik, the guys who tried to blow up the World Trade Towers in 1993. They've all gone through criminal courts. They've all produced intelligence that has been actionable in both, you know, in the Bush and Clinton and Obama administrations. And so what they're doing now is they see an opening. I mean, your boss, your former boss, Dick Cheney, his daughter Liz Cheney is out with a statement now saying that President Obama doesn't care about national security. This is a guy who spent months trying to figure out what to do in Afghanistan, which is really all about confronting Islamic extremism. And he's also had more Predator drone strikes in Pakistan that has taken out more Taliban leaders and more al-Qaeda operatives than Bush did in his last year of his presidency. Now, you can argue whether those are the right policies or not, but for them to come out and say Obama doesn't care about national security, he's distracted, and that, you know, he'd rather give rights to terrorists than to protect Americans is just absolutely bunk. And it just cheapens the debate.
Let's give them the full quote. The former vice president's daughter put out this statement. They must have a house, by the way, with a huge printing operation because they're issuing statements in every direction.
She works at a particular foundation.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of these senior fellowships.
If you want to take a cheap shot and say somebody's working, no, you said that they have a printing press in their house. If you want to take that shot, she actually works for a living.
Well, let me just tell you something. Dick Cheney issues statements now on a regular basis. Families issuing statements on a regular basis. I find it interesting that these statements are emailed out of somewhere, and they somehow become journalistic.
Your original comment was the Cheneys must have a printing press in their house. She actually works for a living. That's the distinction.
What is this organization that she works for?
Well, she actually is very involved, Chris, in trying to get the word out of making a distinction of how can we take steps to keep America safer? What are we doing in national security
She has
issues?
a foundation supported
so now it's okay? It's okay if Republicans have a foundation, there's something wrong with it. I mean, the hypocrisy that you guys display.
These enterprises that issue statements.
That's hypocrisy.
President Obama has weakened America's American security by treating terror as a law enforcement matter, refusing to use every tool at his disposal to prevent attacks and take his eye. So what does that mean, refusing to use every tool at his disposal?
Well, I think, again, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking for Liz Cheney.
For this
well, I can't speak for Liz Cheney. She can speak for herself. I think it's very important that the President of the United States takes every step necessary to protect the American people.
We got 30,000 more troops going to Afghanistan.
No,
What's he supposed to do?
Let's take, excuse me, let's take one specific example. Let's take bringing the people, the mastermind behind the 9/11 attack to New York City. You have the New York City Police Commissioner saying, I don't know that I have the resources and I don't know that I have the money to adequately protect the American people. Let me answer the question. It is answering the question by saying if the police commissioner in the city of New York says that he doesn't know if he has the police officers or the money to adequately protect the city of New York during the trial, that makes America more safe.
Mayor Bloomberg says, fine, bring him here. I want to see him tried here. So, you know, you can come up with one statement from a police commissioner.
The police commissioner of New York City.
The mayor of New York City. I'll trump your commissioner with a guy who he works for.
The hypocrisy that you both illustrate here when you say, how will we make the country less safe?
This statement is not coming from the Cheney household. Okay, let's go to another statement. It's not coming out of the printing press that issues forth statement by statement every hour on the day from the Cheney household. Here's one from North Carolina Congresswoman Virginia Fox, who's along the same line. This was on a conservative radio show yesterday. We only have the audio because it was radio. Let's listen.
How can you believe anything the man says anyway? Has not kept a single promise to the American people. He's kept promises to his union base, to his trial lawyers. You know, he signed an executive order to close Guantanamo. All the promises he's kept are the ones that endanger our lives.
So he's endangering our lives, the president.
I wouldn't agree with her statement in that particular instance. I agree with a lot of the substance of what she said, but I think it is a little bit far, and politicians on both sides of the aisle do this. Alan Grayson from Florida, a Democrat, comes out with some pretty wild statements. You can't take one member of Congress and say that they speak for either the Democrat or the Republican Party. I will say, however, which I said at the outset, President Obama is not using all the tools at his disposal to protect the American people.
Let's go back to Liz Cheney, because in the statement you quoted, she also said, it's time for the president to make defending this nation a top priority, as if he's not making. You know, he has the daily briefings. He figures out what to do in Afghanistan.
What's our arsenal? What do we spend every year on national defense?
Pakistan with predator drones. Do you seriously believe that he comes to work each day not thinking about defending the country as a top priority? Do you seriously believe that?
I absolutely think he wants to protect the country.
Okay, so then you differ with Liz Cheney.
Excuse me. My point is, the Democrats, I do not believe, view this as a war on terrorism. They look at this as a legalistic matter. The interpretations we've heard from the president of saying the alleged act, where he said the suspect, that is a legalistic terminology. The Republicans and the Bush administration
You're making a formidable effort here to defend the indefensible. But here's some more of this stuff. This argument that everything that the Republican Party does makes the country stronger, and everything the Democratic Party does, no matter what it does, makes us weaker. So that maybe someday, when we get hit again, because every country is going to get hit eventually, then they'll be able to jump up and say, we were right, you were wrong. I know how this game is played. Here's a Republican Senate candidate, Jane Norton, at a town hall in Colorado this week. Let's listen, because it's the same anthem.
And what I believe is happening, Steve, is the fact that the rights of terrorists are more important in this administration than the lives of American citizens. And we're seeing it in the criminal field. We're seeing it in the healthcare field. We're seeing it in almost every area that we're looking at.
What do you make of that? What is it? What do you mean the lives of Americans aren't as important? That's why there's a health care bill, because the Democrats don't care about the lives of Americans.
She's saying that the rights of terrorists are more important than the health care bill.
What does this jabberwock mean?
But again, you're trying to pin.
I'm asking.
I'm trying to answer your question.
There's a whole pattern of lines coming out of the Cheney household and elsewhere. The same stuff.
Let me talk to you about the pattern that's coming out from Republicans at the federal level, at the state level. Republicans are very concerned about the leadership of this president and his administration. administration. From the outset, the president
Because he got elected.
The president said he wanted to close. Chris, again, you're trying to make light of something that is very serious that you two should actually take more serious consideration to talk about. This president from day one has said, I want to close Guantanamo without actually thinking through the ramifications of doing so. I'm going to bring people, enemy combatants to the United States, conferring constitutional rights on them that they didn't have before. These are very serious issues, and you can laugh about it, you can talk about it, but it does make this country less
before we get
safe.
to sermonette here,
They are serious
the
issues.
idea that because you're on the right wing of a political argument, it somehow makes you more patriotic is insane.
Oh, no, and I didn't say that.
No, the argument is that you're on the right wing. All right, let me
This
tell
has
you.
nothing to do with being partisan, Chris.
There's a good argument out there that Gitmo and all that it represents worldwide has caused more people to sign up for organizations like Al-Qaeda to give up their lives in suicide attacks on Americans because they're so hateful of America.
And these
because
guys,
they see us as the evil one.
You know,
And they see us as the evil one because they've already issued fatwas that say that they do not like the United States.
That's not what
but that's not why they are.
It's a legitimate argument on both sides. David Corn, Ron Christie.